bring to our community, and others that address matters of concern or risk. Your group has been identified as a potential stakeholder in that wind turbine construction or operations may somehow affect your operations. We are reaching out to provide you with an opportunity to submit information, insight, or concerns you may have on how these wind turbine projects may affect your operations in our community. The committee's list of impacts has been provided to assist in your review process. Your responses will be incorporated into a report being developed for our township board. And this committee's position is that all stakeholders are critical to this review process. Please provide your responses in writing, including supplemental documents that help better explain your response. We appreciate your responses as soon as possible to help move our committee report quickly to completion. Address to submit a response was my address. Also, you can call me on my cell phone. And the same statement as one of our township trustees has said, we have one chance to get this right, and your response as a stakeholder is very much needed and greatly appreciated. So those were the letters that were sent out. Like I say, in total we had 98. We have received some responses back. Just a handful. But I'll go ahead and this list is in the group of information that I gave to the committee, but I'll go ahead and read. These are summaries, and I do have copies of the actual documents here with me. We had received a response from Crawford Broadcasting Company, and it was a letter, and we also received, along with the letter, a Radio World article called Solving the Case of Tower vs. Tower. It was written by Mark Persons. The letter indicated knowledge that spinning wind turbine blades will cause interference if placed within 2 miles of an AM directional antenna. The letter addressed a process called detuning that would make the turbine support towers invisible to radio waves. The article that they had enclosed discussed installing detuning components on the support structure, and they also stated in their letter that the detuning and maintenance of the detuning apparatus would be at the expense of the turbine owner. The next letter we received was a response from the University of Michigan Health System Survival Flight. The letter received indicated their willingness to help plan best practices regarding patient transport by air in areas of man-made structures. And they also offered further assistance of their supervisor or their aviation site manager. My recommendation would be possibly to follow up with their aviation site manager to see if he's aware of anything. The person that we received the letter from was the clinical supervisor of that service. The next letter we received was from Jake Glilla, the 911 director here in Lenawee County. He had indicated in his letter that he had contacted peers at other agencies and was advised that none could attribute radio interference to turbines. However, he did indicate that the turbines should not be placed in the line of sight between their main tower and Adrian to any outlying towers. And they do have a microwave dish located on the tower at 7028 East Horton Road. He also recommends that language be included in regulations that states any radio problems attributed to turbines should be resolved by the turbine owner.
Is that the one at the county barn over there?
I think that's
7028.
I think that would be it. I'm not real sure
I'm just wondering.
the address, but
I know I live in the 80s. I mean, that's about where that'd be. I'm trying to think where the only tower over there is. Other than the tower that's up over there.
Yeah. We received a response from MDOT Jackson by a gentleman named Jared Ball. The response addressed that deliveries associated with wind turbine development on state-owned roadways may require a transport permit from MDOT. And they enclosed a MDOT Form T1 that discussed regulations pertaining to the operation of trucks and trailers according to Act 300. Another response was received from the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality. Response stated that the DEQ does not currently have regulations regarding siting of wind turbines and consider decisions about location of towers and associated infrastructure to fall under local construction and zoning codes. They did recommend contact be made with the Michigan Department of Energy, Labor, and Economic Growth, the Renewable Energy Program. And they enclosed a recent email that was on the subject matter, EPA request for applications, renewable energy feasibility studies of contaminated properties. This relates to an initiative to reuse sites and decrease the use of green space for siting of proposed renewable energy sources.
Hey, that's a place that when they tear down all those houses in Detroit.
Yes.
They can put it up
Good
there.
idea.
And then the last response that we've had so far today was from Calvary Chapel, Twins Falls. They operate a local AM station, and their response indicated that they expect little impact on their Toledo-based station. So that's what we got today. There's still a few outstanding that we're waiting to get back in.
What did you get in, about 6 or 7? And you sent out 98?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's quite.
So anyhow, that's since the last meeting, that's really what's taking place, and more to come on this.
How long have those letters been out then?
For about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks. Because I think it was March 28th when they were mailed.
Put a time limit on there?
Well, I told them as soon as possible. I mean, but you know, we're starting to get some back already, and I know the director from Orsal had called up and you know, discussed the timeline with me, and he indicated that it would probably take them about 4 weeks to develop their response. And I mean, that gives us time to work with it. So, and that's what's in this box here. It's copies of all of the letters that went out in the folders, but all the letters that went out, and if we've had any receipts coming back, and that's, you know, available for anybody to look at. So that's kind of that. Now on the things that I think that we need to start looking at tonight. One of the things that I'd like to do is, you know, we've got this list of impacts. Some of these impacts, I think that we need to pass up to our township board, because getting answers on these would require either them contacting their insurance company or their attorney, and I think that we might as well have them start that process. But what I'd like to do would be to go through the list and see if we can identify ones that we would like to ask our township board to help take the charge on. You know, I know there was a couple of them. Let's see if we can just go through that.
Well, do you have any of your suggestions, or do you have the ones that you thought were there?
Yeah, one suggestion was item number 14. This is on the potential risk, which is the risk that Michigan tax laws may change. I guess what I was thinking on that would be to have them discuss with the attorney options. Are there options other than just the straight industrial facility tax that we currently
If they can do a pilot program or not, or whether it's allowable in the state, or
Yeah,
what other way we can get revenue off of them if that goes away.
Yeah, I think that's one that I think that we should ask them to do. Another one is item number 8, which discusses transfer of liability and commitments if ownership in the turbines changes hands. Because there again, I think that would be something that both the insurance company could recommend contract language, or the attorney could recommend contract language that I don't think would be part of a police power regulation ordinance, but I think it would be a standalone type of a contract, just to help ensure that the township has adequate protection for different types of things that might happen. So that's kind of another one that I was thinking of. And I know that there's one more that, let's see if I can find it real quick. Oh, item number 16, protection of Ogden Township from litigation. So that kind of goes along with item number 8, transfer of liability, just to make sure that, thinking ahead because we don't know what might happen, but just to help the township to be prepared, for situations that might come up. So I guess those are the ones I was thinking of. Any others that come to mind that would be ones specifically that the township board may be involved with to discuss with either our insurance group or with the attorney?
Number 1.
Public safety during construction.
That's very broad.
That is very broad. Would part of that be covered through like road commission? Well, probably not. Road commission or?
No, I'm not sure, just insurance came to mind when I saw that.
Right, who's gonna take the risk here?
Right.
I guess
Who
it's
could be sued?
if the road's damaged by the operation, sort of like the bridge on Horton or whatever, how that got damaged and nothing ever came of that, and it was a big lawsuit, and whether or not whether the township comes up with liability with the roads damaged by the big construction equipment.
Right. Number 2 also for that matter.
Well, I think number 2, which is the deterrent of theft and vandalism of construction materials. I think that was really intended to be construction materials at the for the turbines. I mean, it would be associated with their activities. Now, and I understand that, some of these things, like on the roads, I'm sure that as the project moves ahead, that the road commission and, even MDOT will have certain requirements. But as far as protection specifically, now, the one thing that I could see on that, specific protection for the township would be if it's a township-maintained road. But, I know, my understanding is that the developers are indicating that they restore the roads back to their original condition, or better, but at least back to the original condition.
But during the construction is the concern, because if the roads are damaged by that and they don't restore, we'll say that big giant pothole that they got in the road during the construction, somebody runs into it and ends up in a ditch or something, is that because if it's our township road and and it's our responsibility to repair those roads, and they didn't repair it, and we didn't repair it, and somebody has that. I know it's
And somebody got hurt.
Somebody got hurt. There's an issue there. I know these things are, the machinery and the equipment's heavy. I'm in construction, and, the construction equipment, concrete trucks, all that stuff tear up a lot of stuff.
Could that be covered though under 16, protection of Ogden Township from any
That could be.
litigation for all circumstances?
Yeah, that probably could.